This is your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Thursday, July 18. So glad you can join us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. At the height of complaints by members of the public that they have been unable to fill some prescriptions at pharmacies and polyclinics, the Ministry of Health says it's taking immediate steps to address the problem. Several people, some seeking medication for diabetes and hypertension, took to the airwaves today to report that they were being turned away when they visited the pharmacies to fill prescriptions. In a brief statement, the Ministry of Health assured that the problem would be resolved by the middle of next week. It said that government pharmacies should be fully stocked by then. The ministry, however, urged members of the public not to share their prescribed medication with anyone, including persons who may suffer from similar ailments. The Royal Barbados Police Force will have more eyes on the city this crop over. Today, the force received a donation of 6 closed-circuit television cameras from the Insurance Corporation of Barbados Limited at a short presentation this morning. Commissioner of Police Tyrone Griffith welcomed the move, saying it was a major boost to the force's crime-fighting efforts at a time when the public was sharing less information with officers.
We're not getting the support in terms of persons coming forward to give information in relation to crimes that are committed. The eyes are not, even though people are seeing things, they are not reporting things for various reasons. Some people fear retribution. Others generally are not prepared to support law enforcement in their efforts. So obviously, wherever we have to make up for that shortfall by the use of technology and forensics and those things. So it is indeed very fitting this morning that ICBL has come forward and in a meaningful way supported law enforcement in its efforts through the provision of 6 cameras to the force.
Commissioner Griffith said the cameras arrived just in time for the busy crop over season and would help to beef up surveillance in the city.
The city is always a vulnerable place. We get much of our crime in the city and suburbs. It is the areas that are more prone to crime than the rural areas. And so where cameras are available, that would be good eyes for law enforcement to be able to capture some of the things that are happening around us.
At the same time, ICBL's Chief Operating Officer Oliver Jordan praised the RBPF for its ongoing efforts to stem rising crime. He noted that the company came up with the project some 4 months ago in recognition that crime fighting is becoming more complex. He challenged corporate Barbados to lend more support to the force's efforts to combat crime.
It is for this reason that we at ICBL believe that the private sector should step up and play our part to aid the police force in the fight against the crime in our country, wherever possible. This can only result in more efficient and successful policing and a better Barbados. Therefore, this gesture is our way of saying thank you for the work that you do under very trying circumstances. We know that the crop over season is upon us and will be a very busy time for the force. It is our hope that the 6 cameras donated today will assist the police force with their surveillance and act as a deterrent to any type of criminal activity during the crop over season and beyond.
Chairman of the Sanitation Service Authority, Senator Rudy Grant, has assured that plans are still on stream for the purchase of another 12 garbage trucks, even as he noted that there has been some improvement in the collection of garbage. Grant, who was speaking in the Senate yesterday, says the trucks should arrive within the next 3 months.
We are ensuring that we have additional trucks. While there has been some improvement, we do recognize that more has to be done. We are trying to get those trucks here at the latest in October. That is the date that we are pushing for. But I have to tell you, sir, that a truck takes anywhere between 6, 7, 8 months to manufacture. But we are really pushing to get those trucks here, sir, earlier.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now, outspoken Trinidad and Tobago Police Commissioner Gary Griffith is pointing fingers at the country's politicians for the country's worsening crime problem. During the weekly press briefing of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Force, Griffith complained about relations between politicians and gang members, insisting it must stop. More in this report from TV6 News.
Police Commissioner Gary Griffith is sending a very strong message to politicians. The top cop says if the country wants to see a significant decline in homicides, gang leaders cannot continue to be awarded state contracts. Scolding politicians, he says not a single one of them has the moral authority to talk about the issue, because this has happened in governments past and present.
And no politician can point fingers at any politician. URP, CPEP, Life Sport, Colony Orange, HGC, it has continued and is going to be going on and on and on. It is difficult for the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to go out there and do our job when it is the state is funding gang members. These individuals, they are not using the funds towards helping the community. I need public support on this because this has gone on for far too long. As I mentioned, politicians can't point fingers because this has gone on for the last 4 administrations.
Regardless of his or the TTPS's efforts, Griffith says, murders and gang activity will continue to spiral out of control as long as gang leaders receive large sums of money from the state. The commissioner claimed that regional corporations in particular are guilty of this. On
the international scene, at least 33 people died and dozens were injured after a man set fire to an animation studio in the Japanese city of Kyoto. Police said the 41-year-old suspect broke into the Kyoto animation studio on Thursday morning and sprayed petrol before igniting it. The incident has been described as one of Japan's worst mass casualty incidents since World War II.
Billowing smoke and shocked bystanders. Several people were feared dead after a fire swept through an animation studio in Japan on Thursday. It's thought the blaze in the city of Kyoto was an arson attack, and the main suspect is a man who shouted "die" as he doused the building with petrol. Authorities said scores were also injured when the building was torched. The studio produces popular series such as Sound Euphonium. Its Free Road to the World, The Dream movie is due for release this month. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe called the fire too appalling for words on Twitter and offered condolences to the victims. Public broadcaster NHK said police have taken a 41-year-old man into custody.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on ICBL Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.